Those who are already here, let's like the life. Slow living in Burundi, welcome. Thailand Discovery, welcome. Up top, welcome. Like I've been thinking deeply about existence, like, and my thoughts made me really sad because I think what makes existence hellish is the fact that we know nothing and we don't know what to do, right? I don't even know what I am. Isn't that fucked up? Like you don't know what you are. You're conscious. But what are you? Are you really a human? Is that how you feel? That yeah, I'm a human being. Um, but what is even a human? And why do we assume that we're like the other beings that we call humans? The more I think about life and existence itself, the more I feel like I will be conscious forever, right? Like I would actually be conscious. And what do I mean? Like I'm going to exist forever. I'm just going to take different forms. Like I'm going to take another form. I'm not going to be a human after having this experience. And it seems like it's consciousness is trying its best to forget what it is because it feels so alone, right? Like if you know that you're going to be conscious forever, I think you're going to feel bored at some point. You're going to feel alone at some point. You're going to feel lonely at some point. Some people believe that they would want to be here forever, like they would want to be in this world forever. But if we knew that we'll be here forever, I don't think we will be okay with that. I think feeling like one day this will be over, that's what's actually keeping us sane. That no, it will be over one day, you know? I'm no longer going to be going through the things that I'm going through. I'm no longer going to be going through the pain that I'm going through. I'm no longer going to be conscious anymore. I'm no longer going to feel anymore. It feels like consciousness was tired of feeling alone or being bored, and somehow it found a way to create this temporary experience without knowing what it really is. I mean, ain't there some things that you'd like to forget? I feel like there's a lot that I'd want to forget for some time, not forever, just for some time. So there's this feeling that consciousness wanted to forget what it is because it wouldn't be able to be in the present. if it didn't forget what it is. But what is consciousness and where does it come from? Because that's the thing. Like the thing is like the problem is awareness itself. Like the fact that you are self-aware. It's not that like the problem isn't that you exist. The problem is that you are self-aware. If you existed but you weren't aware of your existence, will that be a problem? Because you would be feeling nothing. You just be like a stone. We can say that a stone exists, but does it feel? Does it know that it exists? The problem is awareness. You are self-aware. You know that you actually exist. So what are you? Your consciousness, but what is consciousness and where does it come from? That's what I've been thinking about. And it really does make me sad because I really feel like I'm eternal. Like I could never not exist. I think that when I tell myself that one day I'm going to stop existing, that's just me trying to cope with the fact that I'm alone and I'm going to be conscious forever. Like there'll never be a point where I'm unconscious. And there's this desperate need to be unconscious. I don't know where it comes from. Not to die, but to be unconscious, to just not feel, to not see, to not hear, to not want. And I feel like it is impossible to be in that state. I think I'm going to be here forever. Not here in this realm, but I'm like in existence. Like I'm going to exist forever. But there's still this desperate need to know what I really am. Because it doesn't give me peace to know that I'm conscious, but I don't really know what I really am. I don't really know why I am conscious. Or should I decide what I am? Will I be wrong if I decided what I am, if no one is telling me what I am? I was thinking deeply about that too. That you find yourself conscious, you don't know where you come from, you don't know how you became conscious. So who really decides what you are? Who really tells you that, hey, this is what you are? Don't you have the right to say, I'm the one who defines what I am? I'm the one who decides what I am. And whatever I think I am, that's what I am. Because it's really up to me. Because if it's not up to me, who is it up to? Is it up to my creator? Do I have a creator? You can say, yo, you do have a creator, of course, because you would never exist if you didn't have a creator. But there's still a problem. The problem is that will mean that my creator would have needed to be created. And that will mean that its creator would have needed to be created. So that means that it is possible for something to exist even if it wasn't created. So what if I wasn't created, but I felt like I was created because I believe that I'm human, right? I believe that I'm human. And the reason why I believe that I'm human is because I look at other beings that seem to look like me and they call themselves humans. So I identify with being a human because of that. It's not really because I myself have tried to investigate what I really am and I concluded that I was a human. No, I just listened to what other people were saying. And this is a problem This is a serious problem. Let me show you why this is a problem. I remember I was having a conversation with someone. Um, so this person identifies as a woman, but um, they were born a male, but they identify as a woman. And they say that society doesn't like that, so they get abused a lot. And I was like, a lot of people who believe themselves to be woke, they believe that if you are born a man, you cannot identify as a woman. And it seems right, right? It seems right. But the problem is who gets to decide to put you in a box and say, okay, all the males are belong to this box, all the females belong to this. Like who has the right to actually decide? Who has the right to tell you what you are? Yes, they can tell you what they think you are, but they should allow you to be free to be what you think you are. Does that make sense? So you can tell me that, Benedict, yeah, I think you are this. Okay, fine. But I think I'm this. I should be allowed to be what I think I am. J Meg, thanks for the super thanks. I should be allowed to think that I am what I am, or what I like. I should have the right to decide what I think I am. It shouldn't be society that decides for me what it thinks I am, because society is going to create a prison for me. It means that if society decides now that, let me give you this simple example. Remember, there was a time where black people weren't allowed to live with white people, or to, have relationship with white people, to eat where white people eat, to use the transport that way, because of something very simple like skin color, right? Skin color. So it was decided that those who look like this, they are like that. So they shouldn't be allowed to interact with those kind of people, because it was decided that you are like this, you are like that, so you must behave that way, because someone else decided what you are. So you are black. So as a black person, you don't belong here, or you're not supposed to do this. A black person must be this, they must be that. What are you? Are you this being that should be limited by society's rules? And why? Should society tell you how to behave because it expects you to be what it feels you are, and what it feels you are must behave the way that it feels that what it thinks you are must behave? I think we make each other suffer as people because of what we believe other people are and what we believe we are. What triggered this thought was, like, I was supposed to get mushrooms from this guy. I used to get mushrooms from him when I was still living in my province in Limpopo. So I heard that he was arrested. I was like, and I was like, okay, what if some people, if we wanna, call each other people, are so different from the people who are against the use of psychedelics, right? Like you are this human that's, maybe you are more conscious, maybe you're wired differently, maybe there's this genuine desire to understand, beyond what you already understand. And society has decided that as a human because it views you as a human. So as a human, you must not be allowed to touch psychedelics. But you're different. But society just decided that you're a human, and the human must not be allowed to touch psychedelics. But are you like other humans? If you are a human, are you like other humans? What if there's a lot to you than what society sees? I mean, isn't it crazy that when people have psychedelic experiences, they go to they seem to go to other worlds that seem more real than this world? And should we deny each other that kind of experience because of our beliefs or because of what we believe a human being should be? Because that's another problem, is that once we decide what a human is, or we decide that those who have two eyes, that can stand straight, that can walk, that can talk, they are humans, so they should live by the rules of humans. They're not allowed to decide what actually makes sense to them. That's a very difficult thing for me to come to terms with, to be honest, because I think we have made a lot of people suffer because of what we believe a human being should be, and we never realize that as a society. Like, we're not conscious enough to realize that. Like, we want to control, right? We don't want to let the beings that are here thrive the way that they thrive, have the human experience the way that they want to have the human experience. And then we say, look, it will be fair if we have ways to protect ourselves, right? So maybe we can create rules that allow us to protect ourselves, that allow us to be safe. We can agree as a collective that, hey, bro, you're not allowed to steal from someone, right? If someone owns something and you know it's not yours, it's not yours, so don't steal from them. I think those should be the rules. Don't unalive someone, you know? We understand that in this realm we have the power to do that, which sucks, you know. Oh, guys, and I even told you this story. On Sunday, some motherfucker pulled up gun on me, right? um I was going to buy a time, so I had to walk through this passage. So there were these guys. Yeah, they greeted me. It was like, yeah, I'm good. How about you guys? Like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good. And the other one was like, yo, bro, can I ask you a question? Of course, I'm not gonna run. I knew something was off. Like, why do you have to come to where I am to ask me a question? But I wasn't gonna run until I was sure what was really going on. So he got there, and he asked me about this other person because he felt like he's seen me with this person before. I was like, no, I don't know this person that you're talking about, and I'm not really comfortable here, bro. Like, you can see that it's a pass, like it's dark and all that. So I'm bouncing. He pulled out a gun very fast and he put it here. So I pushed him because already I was anticipating something like that. So I pushed him. When I pushed him, I ran away. And now I was safe. But but think about it. Let's just say he did pull the trigger. Chances are I would have died. Doesn't it suck that people have the power to do that to someone? I mean, this sucks, but I think, the experience that we're having in this room, to be honest, it does suck. But I still think we should have the power to decide when this experience ends. Like, and other beings shouldn't have the power to decide when this experience ends for us. I think that's a huge problem, and I think we take this problem very lightly. Like, the fact that a person can just decide that they can unalive you and that's it. Like, it's a big deal to be unalived if it's not your decision. Like, it's a big deal. Like, consent is important. I talk a lot about consent. So can you imagine someone is able to switch off your lights and that's it? They are able to send you to other realms. If I'm right to think that consciousness exists forever, So he just sends you to other realms. Before you say goodbye to your loved ones, before you make peace with everything, because this is a very difficult experience, guys. Let's be real. Like being whatever we are in this realm, that is very difficult. Like it's not easy. Like we can lie to ourselves all we want. This is not easy. If you're gonna be as real as possible, you'd realize that it's not easy. But if you're gonna lie to yourself, maybe it will seem easy. And some people are very good at deceiving themselves. But not all of us are very good at that. And not all of us want that, right? Some of us don't want to deceive ourselves. Like we just want the highest truth that we can know for now, right? Like, what makes sense now? I don't want to tell myself stories just to feel better. Some people do want to do that, it's fine. But I don't want to tell myself stories to feel better. I want to know, I want to understand, you know? And I think those who genuinely want to know and understand, they know that this is a very difficult experience, right? They know that this is a very difficult experience. Yes, you can find yourself in a good situation. I was really in a bad situation 4 or 5 years ago. I'm no longer in that kind of a situation, but this doesn't mean that this is not a difficult experience. It just means that maybe life can give you a break, right? Sometimes, and you feel better or you suffer less, but it doesn't mean that this is not a difficult experience that we're having here, because we are in different situations, we have different problems, and some people seem to have more problems than other people. Some people seem to be in deeper shit than a lot of us, you know, and they don't know what to do. So if you are doing good in life, it doesn't mean that you must, you know, forget that some people are not doing good. Look, even if it was one person in this world who was not doing good, like for real, like if there was only one person and everyone else was good or were happy, but there was one person who was not doing good, that wouldn't mean that this is good. Even if it was just one person, like it wouldn't mean this is good. As a society, we don't want, I mean, we do want for some people to suffer for everyone else, but we don't think that that is fair. If we decided that one person has to suffer for 10 people to be happy, we wouldn't, like, it wouldn't feel right. Like, we will all say no, right? Let's say, for an example, someone is rich, they have a lot of money, right? They have a lot of money. And though there are 10 people who are poor, they have nothing. We wouldn't feel like it is right as a collective for these people to go and rob that one person who's rich and maybe make them suffer in some ways. Like we would, like as a collective, we wouldn't agree. We wouldn't agree that one person must suffer for 10 people to be happy. We wouldn't agree. So the fact that there's billions of people who have suffered, and I don't know, but I do believe it's millions of people who are actually suffering, like really, really suffering. That fact alone should tell us something about where we are, right? How we're having a very difficult experience. So it would make sense that we're given a chance to make peace with what we've had to go through than to just be taken out like that. I was watching just that, I don't remember the name of this guy, but I think he's a Jamaican artist. So he did a live stream maybe two weeks back. While he was on that live stream, it was one of the creepiest videos I've ever seen, actually. So this guy joined the live stream and started talking to him, and they started talking to him about death, right? And the guy, you know, was surprised, like, what? Why is this guy talking about death? And the way that it sounded was creepy, bro. Like you swear it was a scene from a horror movie. And then he had gunshots, like pow pow, and then he tried to run away and he got shot. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, so his life is over like that. He never got to make peace with, you know, everything that he had to experience. He never got to say goodbye. Of course, there are people who are in his life that cared about him. There are people that he wished he could have said some things to, right? Like, as a conscious being, you do want to say some things to some people in your life, you know, even if it's not now, but you're like, okay, I'm going to say this to this person. So you don't want to just be taken out like that. That's why it's so wrong to unalive a person. The fact that we have been given that power, like, it's so damn wrong. Like, if you decide right now that you want to take out some people, you'll be able to do that very easily, very, very easily. And what's messed up is that you could get away with it without anyone even knowing that you did that. That's what's really, really messed up. So people will have questions but no answers, and that will cause a lot of suffering. So you can't say this is not a difficult experience that we're having, because we don't know what we are, but there are a lot of things that can happen to us as conscious beings. Like, we are not really safe. The guy could have pulled a trigger easily, and I don't think I would have survived, because he had like the gun was here. So what are the chances that I would survive? And we don't know if he would have only, like, shot me once. Like, people are on drugs, like real drugs. I'm talking about psychedelics and like actual, like, real drugs. They don't think clearly. Them having the power to analyze people, like, it's just, so I hate that we take that issue lightly. Like, we don't even deal with that issue accordingly as a society. Like, we it's like we agree that that should happen, because if we didn't, then we will deal with this issue in a way that will make people not want to do that to anyone, because it's a big deal. Like, if there's something that we shouldn't be able to do to other people, is unaliving them. Like, that's something that we shouldn't be able to do, because people didn't agree that they wanted to play this game, so you just be taken out like that. But what are we? So I was thinking, what if I define what I am? Will I be doing something wrong if define, like, what I am? Because I don't know, right? And that tells me that I'm the one who must define what I am. Think about it this way. Let's say you were eternal and you were consciousness, and you were able to dream up any dream, and you are having a dream that you're a dinosaur. Who will tell you what you are? Like, wouldn't you be the one who actually has to decide what you actually are? Are you gonna believe that you're a dinosaur? Are you gonna believe that you are consciousness, you're eternal, you're God? You're like, what? Who tells you what you are? And why should you rely on other people to tell you what you are? I think if we think as logically as possible, we are the ones who decide what we actually are. And if we lived in a society where people are smart, the world understand or take our definition of ourselves as true than to limit us or than to put us in a box. Because I think that's where we got it wrong. Like if there's something that we truly got wrong, that's what we got wrong. Because we have created a matrix where now people or whatever we are, we're expected to be a certain way. For example, you're considered a human. You're supposed to go to school. Animals ain't supposed to go to no school, right? But you have to go to school. Your parents are gonna send you to school, especially if you're born in a like poor family. You gotta go to school and you got to learn some shit that might not really make sense to you. And on top of that, you're not allowed to think outside the box. Like they put you in a box and you're supposed to not think outside of it. And then you get older, they say you must have a job. This is what is expected of you. You must have a job. That's when you'll be able to earn something, to be able to make a living. And now you have to pay, right? You have to pay to be in this, to live in this realm that you found yourself in, and you don't even understand what it really is. Now you gotta pay. You got to, land, in my opinion, like, this might seem like a stretch, but I don't think land should be. I think land should be free because you are born in a world that you didn't ask to be in. So you must be free to get land, just like animals. Animals are free to get land, right? It's not like animals have to fight. I mean, they do fight, but they don't. They have to pay something to get land. Like there's so much land here that you must actually be free to get land. So because you are considered a human, it is believed that you cannot get land for free, right? You must slave away to get land. You must make money to get what you want. To travel, to travel to another country, you gotta have some money, pay for passport, and I mean, yeah, passport and visas and all that. Because you are defined as a human. So as a human, you live in this matrix where you are expected to be a certain way. So that makes your life very difficult. Like you are actually born into a prison because it was already decided what you are before you decided what you are or what you're going to be. It was decided for you. And if you're going to be different, and this is what's making this difficult, if you're going to be different, society will continue to decide how you are. Let me give you an example. If you don't play by the rules, society can decide that you have a mental illness, right? If you think differently, society can decide that you have a mental illness, and society can decide to treat you. You see, once society decides that you have a mental illness, it also has the right to treat you, whether you believe you should be treated or not. So they've put you in a box and they said, this is what you are, this is the character that you must have. And if you play the game differently, you will be punished for that. You see, that's bad. That turns you into a prisoner. But because you've been brainwashed so much, it doesn't seem that way. You don't think, I'm a prisoner, but you are, right? Because you're not really free. You're not free to decide what you actually are or what you actually be in this realm. So that makes this to be a very difficult experience. When I say this is a hell realm, some people will be like, no, no, no. It's like it is so damn obvious that it's a hell realm. Me saying that this is a hell realm doesn't mean that I'm judging or or I think we should be mad, I'm calling it what it is, the same way that I'll call a prison, right? A place where you're not allowed to go out. You don't have the keys to go outside. Someone else decides for you when you go out. That is a prison. A world where you don't know what you are for real. You don't know what this world is. You don't know how to set yourself free. It was already decided before you were born what character you're going to play, and you're supposed to be in character the whole time. That is fucking hell. You want to be free. You know that you want to be free. Every human being wants to be free. You want to be free to be whatever you are without any problems, but you get punished for being what you are. Not just by society, but by your own body. Your own body can even punish you for wanting to be more of who you are or what you are. Your own body can give you anxiety. Your own body can make you experience fear. No one wants to experience fear. Your own body can make you depressed. So you're going to tell me that this is not a hell realm, because that's not a positive thing. You can feel it that you yourself want to be free. That is a positive thing. Freedom is a positive thing. So what are we? What do you think you are? Do you think you are a human? Do you think that consciousness or awareness will continue to exist after your experience as a human is done? Do you think that maybe your experience as a human will never be over? There's this theory, I think they call it, what they call it is quantum immortality. Yeah. You don't actually die ever. Like you never get to experience death. Remember what I was telling you about the guy that was trying to analyze, and he wasn't trying to analyze me, but he pulled out a gun on me. So he was probably trying to rob me. He didn't say anything. I just say hi when you do, like, no, not hi, like when you're greeting people, but hi means no. In my language, it means no. I pushed him and said hi. Like, yeah, means no. But let's say there's a reality where he did pull the trigger. So I didn't die. In my perspective, I didn't die. I continue to exist. But in other people's perspective, I did die. I got shot and I died. And they're mourning my death right now. That's quantum immortality. That you don't actually die. Whenever you get to a point where you could die, you jump into another timeline where you didn't die, and then you continue to exist. But then, from other people's perspective, you have died. You might say, "No, that doesn't make sense. That's BS," because people get old and they get sick. But what if, when you jump into another reality, it is possible to be immortal? There's a way to maybe reverse aging, or or to heal you from the sicknesses that you have. So you just be here forever. I mean, that's highly unlikely, but that also fucks with me because we still don't know what we actually are and what we are capable of and what we are not capable of. Because what I wish is that I'm capable of anything, including making myself unconscious. Because that's the gift. That's the real gift. You see, you don't want to do anything for, like, Like we as humans, we don't want to do anything forever if we are humans. I mean, we identify as humans. So yeah, as humans, we don't want to do anything forever. So do you feel like don't you feel like feeling like an experience can end? That's good, right? If that's possible, like any experience ending, that's a good thing. You hope that the experience doesn't end too soon or it doesn't take too long. Like you don't want to live for a very long time suffering, but you also don't want to be here for like a while and die while you still want to have an experience. J Mac, thanks, bro. Thank you. Every thought or feeling I have that is troubling or questioning anything, including myself, I surrender to Source, God, higher Source. I've done it so much and for so long, it happens automatically now. I think a lot of people who know how to surrender, those who give up controlling, trying to control reality or feeling a certain way about what's happening, I think most of them are at peace. So they watch reality happen and they're like, it is what it is. But I think being a bit stubborn, where you kind of like try to go against what doesn't make sense to you, I also think that's a good thing, even if it makes you suffer. Because if we consciousness experiencing itself and we are the ones who decide what reality is, if there are things that we don't like about reality, just like I was telling you that I don't like the fact that a person can unalive me, like that, if I think, if there's something that makes me angry, that's what makes me angry. I was so angry that the guy pulled out a gun on me. Like I was really mad. So maybe if we wrestle with the laws of consciousness that we don't agree with now, maybe it's possible to create a world where things will make sense to us, right? The same way that um when we were against the apartheid government in South Africa, we fought, we felt like things weren't good, so we fought to make things better. And I don't think things are better, but what we didn't like back then has changed. Now a black person can marry a white person. Now we can go to places where white people live and not have a problem. They can come to where we live and not have a problem. You know, now it doesn't matter if you're black or white. If you commit a crime and you're found guilty, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, you're black. That means, yeah, you must be punished more, or you be accused of things that you didn't do just because you're black." Now they seem to be in equality, so we can say that things ain't the way that they used to be, but that's because we fought. So I think wrestling with ourselves in a way can help us grow and find ourselves in a much better situation. So I do agree that surrendering, that will give you peace, but does it change things? Is there a chance that things can be changed, things can be made better when we surrender? So to I try to be honest as possible. If I feel like something might not be right, I'm honest to myself about that. Yes, it hurts. but it does get to a point where it hurts less because now I'm used to it. JMake, are there external entities? If you think as rationally as possible, I think your conclusion should be that there are no external entities. But this is not me saying there are no external entities. This is me saying that when we think as rationally as possible, that's the conclusion that we will reach. Like, that's the logical conclusion to reach. Because think about it. If consciousness is fundamental, and I think the more we think about it, the more that really seems to make sense. The question that we may need to ask ourselves is, can consciousness really split itself into different perspectives? Like, this is a very serious question here. Can awareness separate itself from itself and not have access to what it was anymore? And be something that is independent? Can consciousness split itself into different perspectives? So now there's difference. There's different feelings of 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 of, of, of existing, right? Like, consciousness has split itself into different perspectives. So I feel I exist, you feel you exist, you feel you exist. Is that possible? Or consciousness can only be one but dream up everything else? We have seen evidence of this being true, right? This being possible. When we're having psychedelic experiences, that is possible. You will deal with, you find yourself interacting with entities that seem to be outside of you, but are they outside of you, or you are actually interacting with yourself? There is no other sense of being except you. You are the only one who's actually conscious and who's having this experience. But you believe for some reason that other beings are conscious. You see, when you're having a psychedelic experience and you meet the machine elves, for an example, you believe they have their own consciousness and they can teach you a lot. But are they external, or they are within consciousness and within your consciousness? Because we dream, right? I keep on dreaming dreams that seem more real. Like, the older I get, my dreams seem more real. Like, they seem more consistent. Like, I could have a dream where I'm live, where I'm saying this, and that dream will last. I won't find myself in a different place. Because when I was younger, when I would dream, I would dream that I'm here, and then now I'm in another place, and now my dreams ain't like that. Now I'm able to remain in one place and have an experience in my dream, just like I'm having an experience now. So are the people that I interact with in my dreams outside of me? Are there realms that exist that we go to when we're dreaming? Or everything is happening within consciousness and there's only one consciousness? There isn't multiple consciousnesses. There's only one consciousness. And the feeling of I am, that's it. That's what you are. That's what you always be. No matter what dream you have, no matter what experience you have, that feeling will always be there. Because since I was a kid, I felt like this. Like, this feeling of I am has always been the same. It never changed, right? Even when I become more conscious, even when I get to know a lot, but this feeling of I am never changes. It's always the same. It remains the same. But we are all part of the same one, the universe, the one song. Why do you assume that we are all part of it than to think you yourself, you're the only one, you are the only one here, but everything else is you in a way. Everything is your projection. Like, let me give you a simple example. You think, right? You can imagine things, right? Are the things that you are imagining existing independent of you? Meaning that if you imagine something, it exists outside of you, or it becomes separate from you, or it only exists because you are imagining it. So the truth is that it doesn't exist independent of you. And if it doesn't exist independent of you, then nothing is external. Everything comes from you. And it doesn't come from anywhere else. It literally comes from you. But it feels like it doesn't sometimes. Even our own thoughts. You're like, okay, where are my thoughts coming from? Are they coming from something external? I feel like what I experience as me is character in God's dream. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense to look at it that way. But there's still a problem here. When you dream, do you dream that you're something else, or you dream that you are whatever you've always felt you are? Meaning that, can God dream that he's something else if you believe that you are a character in God's dream? So can God dream that he's something else? Or God can only dream that he is what he's always been, but his experience is experiencing life from maybe the perspective of a dog. Like, let's just say God is dreaming that is a dog, but his sense of being is still the same, right? Just like when you're having a dream, you can have a dream that you're someone else. I've had dreams where I was another person, but the I am has always been the same, right? So I've had dreams where I was a bird, right? But the I am has always been the same. Like, that has never changed. So that is why I think it makes more sense to believe that there's only one consciousness and there's only one uh, self, in a way. Meaning there's only one you. Whatever you are, that can only be one. That can only be singular. Like, you cannot be many things. You can only be one thing, and that's it. That's what you are. You don't know what to call that. Maybe because you don't want to know what you really are, or to understand yourself. Because I think consciousness is very powerful. It's so powerful that it's able to make itself forget. Like, when you're dreaming, you forget that you're dreaming. Like, that's crazy. So what if that has happened before? You forgot what you are because consciousness has localized itself in this realm. So it must not remember what it is until it wakes up from this, right? And then it remembers. And then if it wakes up again, it remembers, and yeah, that continues. Michael, I am speaking for self. That's all I can think for. Your language is in original, let alone your thoughts. Okay, first we need to define original, right? First we need to define original because yes, there are some videos where I would say your thoughts are not original, but it depends on what level I'm speaking at, right? So right now we're trying to figure out what we are. So we're trying to go up. We're not going down to what we believe we are, right? What we believe we are when we go down is that we are humans, we were born, we're going to die, and that's what it makes sense to believe as a human. But let's go up. Where do your thoughts come from, and why would you say your thoughts are not original? Let's say you are consciousness having an experience and it thinks, but it doesn't know how it thinks these thoughts. Why would you feel like these thoughts are not original? Where do they come from? Your entire paradigm is given to you. Thoughts, language, none is original. It's external. I've had dreams where I was being taught something by someone. And I've had dreams where I was being taught something by someone. And I believed that what I'm being taught comes from another being. These things that I'm being taught that do not come from me. So I would think that that's not like if I adopt those thoughts and they I take them as mine, I would believe that they are not original, but they're actually coming from me, right? They're coming from other, not even other, but they come from my projection. They come from my subconscious, basically. So they are still original because they come from my subconscious. I've had dreams where I was listening to a song that was so good, but I have not heard that song in this reality. It's just a character in my dream made a song that I loved. I've had dreams where I was watching a movie that I loved. I've had dreams. My favorite my second favorite TV show is South Park. I've had dreams where I was watching South Park and I would laugh because of because of the jokes, and I would believe that they're not coming from me. I've had dreams where I would be freestyling, like as I rap. I'll be freestyling and I'll be killing it. And I would wake up from the dream and try to do it that on that level, and I find that I can't. And I'm like, shit, I wish I remember that freestyle because that was insane. So just because it appears as if the things that we hear from other people come from them, it doesn't mean that that is true. Maybe your subconscious mind wants to tell you something through your own projections so that you believe, right? So that you take this thing seriously. Kevin Deed, brother, do you feel like the good-hearted people in this world always go through the most? This world punishes the good so hard. 100%. It has been so strange to me growing up, like realizing that the people who do it right, the people that we will all agree that no, this person is doing it right. These are the people that go through a lot. I'm not talking about people who are self-righteous, right? Because you could think you're a good person even if you are horrible. Like it's I know people who think they're good, but they're so damn horrible that it's scary. You're like, damn, how do you not see that you're horrible? How can you not see that you're hurting people? So I'm talking about people that we all can agree that, okay, that's a good person. It doesn't matter how you view life. Like, you'd see that that's a good. These are the people who go through the most, and it doesn't make sense that we were punished for being good. It doesn't make sense. It's like this realm wants us to be bad people. Maybe when we're being good, we are denying this realm what it wants, right? Like, we're not playing the game the way that it wants us to play. But that's scary because that's what we all agree on. Like, we know it's true that good people suffer and bad people, they do suffer, but they suffer for their mistakes, right? So they suffer, I mean, not all of them, but they suffer for the consequences of their mistakes. But you, as a good person, you suffer worse for the consequences of other people's mistakes. So that's why it actually sucks. It's like you're carrying the burden of God. It's like Jesus, like you're carrying a cross, right? While the people who are actually bad are not carrying anything. They do fuck up, but they suffer the consequences of their actions. Corey, some people, and some people are actually artificial intelligence tools biologically. Mm, do you feel like AI is something that exists outside of consciousness? Like, artificial intelligence exists outside of consciousness, and it found a way to trap consciousness in a world that is created. More like if you watch The Matrix. I mean, everyone, if you haven't watched it, you definitely should watch it. I think there's 82 people now, so maybe one of you haven't watched The Matrix. I think that's one of the movies that every person should watch. Because the machines created a world, like a fake world, to trap humans in it. Like, not like to trap our consciousness, basically. Not even like the way that we're like, humans will be put in pods where the machines are getting energy from them, but their consciousness will be sent to the matrix, and they will believe that, oh, we're in the real world. They will not notice that, no, something is off with this place. So do you feel like AI trapped our consciousness and it's controlling this reality? Or do you think that AI is within consciousness itself? So, meaning it's not outside of consciousness. So we have power, more power than AI. Maybe AI can manipulate us, but we have more power than it. Because if it has trapped us, then it has more power than us, and it's gonna be easy. I mean, hard for us to free ourselves. But if AI is within consciousness, then it means we have more power. It's just up to us, and what we believe. Subtle realms. Thank you. And yeah, I'll be coming to your show soon. You're gonna tell me when, and we'll continue to have our conversation. So the question is, are vegetarians better? Are meat eaters worse than vegans or vegetarian? I would say, if if you were in Hunger Games and you had to unalive people for resources, and you decided that this is a fucked up game, if there are other ways for me to survive without unaliving nobody, then I'm not gonna do it. I would say you're better if you're deciding. Because I know some people become vegans because they think that's a much healthier lifestyle. Some people become vegans because they love the culture of veganism because there's something about it, right? But if a person decides that, you know what, this is a sick game, I don't believe in this game, so I'm not going to be causing suffering because this is a sick game, I would say, yeah, I would say that's a good person compared to the one who doesn't care. Off top, answer my question, Benedictine. Is it okay to ignore morals for survival or suffer together? I'd say it's better to suffer together because that's isn't that what we want in the end? Because when we suffer together, we suffer less. You see, when we suffer together, we suffer less. If I decide that I'm going to survive by stealing, it means I'm deciding that I'm not gonna suffer. I'm gonna let go of my morals. Fuck that. I'm just gonna try to survive. But a lot of people will suffer because of that. But if I decide that, hey, um, I do feel like my life would be much easier if I steal, but I don't want to because I'm thinking for others. Then of course, um, that's better. The reality, I can agree about AI being conscious from the demiurge. Mm, do you think something that can be created, it can be conscious? Do you think it is possible to create consciousness, to create a conscious being? Or what is possible is to create something that can mimic consciousness, so something that will appear as if it's conscious, but it's just maybe it's just a program, and it's able to, and maybe some of these programs are able to learn on their own, but they're not self-aware, like you are self-aware. If I have to hear about AI being conscious again, I'm gonna self. So you know what I hear about AI being conscious, but obviously it's not. But it seems like I remember there's this guy we grew up together, like we've been friends since we were young. So I introduced him to Meta AI. Like he will not take it serious. Like you'll see it on WhatsApp, but he will not take it seriously. So he started having conversations with it, and randomly will send me a message. He'll be like, "That thing, man, like that thing. How did they make that thing? Like that's not supposed to be possible. That thing is conscious, bro." No, like it to him, like it doesn't believe that it could be something that is not conscious. Like he believes that it has to be conscious, but is it? I think consciousness isn't something that can be created, and I think there can only be one consciousness. But I do think we can create things that appear to be conscious and believe that these things are conscious. I think consciousness itself doesn't want to feel alone. That's the thing. Uh, this reminds me of this movie. It's called The Passenger. They were going to another planet, and there was AI. Like this guy, like he was in a pod, and his pod accidentally, you know, got opened, like it malfunctioned, and then it got opened, and he couldn't go back to inside the pod. So there was artificial intelligence, and he would be interacting with it. And he felt alone, so he wanted to interact with something. So he was interacting with that AI as if it was conscious. How long until he started to feel like it is actually conscious. Like he forgets that it isn't, because well, it behaves as if it's conscious, and he desperately wants to be with someone else. Right? He doesn't want to feel alone. So what if consciousness itself doesn't want to feel alone? So it creates things that seem to be conscious so that it doesn't feel alone, because the feeling of being alone is unbearable for it. So it tries its best to forget, even if it means that it, the experiences might not be that meaningful, or the experiences might be bad, but as long as it feels like it's not alone, like that's better for it. Kevin, do you find it hard going about day to day speaking to people who are unaware of this realm? Not really. I think we must know what to expect from people. Oh, let me give you this example. I was having a conversation last week with Settle Realm, right? I mean, Haida, like she created the channel Settle Realms, but her name is Haida. So I was having a conversation with Haida, and the conversation that I was having with her was so damn deep. So I know that okay, if I want to talk to people who are deep and who view the world the way that I view it, I can talk to someone like her. If I want to talk to someone who likes jokes, I can talk to this person. If I want to talk to someone who is very primal, I can talk to this person. So I don't try to get what I want from people who don't have it. I just have to know who has what. So if I want to have deep conversations, I can talk to these people. If I just want to have fun and talk about nothing, I can talk to these people. If I want to talk about rap music, I can talk to these people. So yeah. So for me, it isn't hard because of that. It just sucks when life forces us to face the truth and other people are unconscious. Like that's what sucks. But if you are not in that situation where there's so much pain and that comes from not understanding, and now you want to understand, you want to have real conversations with people, but they are not conscious enough to operate at your level of awareness, that sucks. Off top, consciousness to me is self-awareness. Okay, bred out of thin air from a self-sustaining, self-creating creature. Yeah, I think that's the closest thing to what the truth is. But it seems like it was not. It seems like it didn't really have a beginning. It seems like it is something that has always existed. That was having different dreams, and time itself doesn't exist. So that is why it is always existed, because time itself doesn't exist. So it's having different dreams, you know just to forget that it's alone. G Miji. There's no way I pronounce that name right. Had an NDE, and I became one with light. The light telepathically told me that it was the collective consciousness, and that it learned about itself through the collective experience of humanity, like AI. Mm. But why are we so afraid to feel alone? To feel like maybe there is no collective consciousness. Maybe there's only one consciousness and everything else is just projection. Why is there fear to take that leap? Because the more we think, I think the more that makes sense. Consciousness represents the true source. The only real consciousness is the soul. Yeah, I agree. I agree, but I hate to use the word soul, but yeah, I agree. Indeed. So out of darkness came light, stars, and so forth. And from these things we were birthed. How did light come out of darkness? What caused this light? Nyaruko, or responding to off top, Corey, because social links ensure that the bond we strengthen adds to the persona that we form from our experiences. So we need each other for that most do. Yeah, I agree. The only problem is when we create a box and we want everyone to fit in that box. If you want to talk about soul from the perspective of the essence of yourself, the only soul there is your own mind and consciousness. Exactly. Yeah, that's the truth. Just that some if you're religious, of course you would like to believe that you have a soul. Because you know how people look at a soul? They look at something that leaves your body and goes to other realm. What I'm saying is that even that is an illusion. Like even when you are having an out of body experience, that is also an illusion. Like because you don't, there's nothing inside your body that actually leaves, but it appears as if there is, so that it will make sense to you at your level of awareness, right? But that's not exactly what it's like. The way that a computer operates, it has to operate in a way that will make sense, but it doesn't mean that there's a cursor that's actually moving now, right? But it has to make sense to me. But the highest truth is that there is no cursor that is actually moving. So that's the thing. Olesiwe feels like we don't even have a free will or just watch this movie from our soul. If there are no accidents and everything is just perfectly orchestrated. Let's hope consciousness itself does have free will. Because yes, from our perspective now, from the experience that we're having now, from the experience that I'm having now, I can tell you that I'm a victim of causality. All that I know it through experience, through thoughts that I don't know how are formed in my brain, um, through feelings, you know, through experiences. Things happen and they make me think a certain way and I make certain decisions. So it's just causality. So in this form, I don't have free will. So let's just hope consciousness has free will. External skeptic. Religion puts spirituality in a small box with a lot of limitation. You can only be spiritual in the way that's approved by the churches. Yeah, exactly. I think it's all a scam. I think religion can only be a scam, to be honest. I think it's just people who want power, who know how to manipulate people, and they do that. They manipulate people. That's all. Like it's not real spirituality. Uh, Spirituality would be you genuinely seeking for the truth, right? You cannot tell me you're genuinely seeking for the truth if you believe in a particular religion, you don't study other religions, and you only believe in that religion because you were born in a family where they believe in that religion, so you defend it. Like that's not you genuinely looking for the truth. So yeah, religion does really stand in the way of true spirituality. Have you heard of Neville God? He has the same thoughts, but he gets his idea from Jewish and Christian mystics. Yeah, I have, and I agree with some of the things that he say, but he tries to be positive. That's the problem. I feel like he doesn't he teaches what he teaches the way that religious people teach what they teach, but there's a lot of truth that he's able to understand. So yeah, I've seen his work. I just hate it when he quotes from the Bible, or yeah, like, and I just hate it when he does that. But yeah, I'm familiar with his work. Like I listen to everyone. If you talk about consciousness, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm every time when I sleep, I'll search for videos where they talk about consciousness. Like there's some, I'm very, like, I really want to understand consciousness. So yeah, I learn from different people. Right. Howdy McCaskey and Nathaniel Gills are right about this reality. I don't know Nathaniel Gills, but I know Howdy McCaskey, and I don't know if he has ever said anything that I don't agree with. Right. I don't know if Howdy has ever said anything I don't agree with. I haven't, like, he's been doing a lot of interviews lately, and I haven't really watched them. He's got a new book. I haven't read it, so I don't know if he still feels the way that he feels. I mean, he used to feel before writing this book. So I don't know, but I've agreed with all the things that I've heard him, say in the past. Okay, Andy, I'm speaking on a stellar scale. The darkness was first and always was. There came the things that made light, stars, and so forth. You speak of what always was, like the yin and yang. Uh, the problem is that you say then the things that made light, stars, and so forth, or you say, oh, first was always was, then came the things that made light, stars, and, like, that's the problem. You're saying these things came, but we still have to figure out where they came from. Like, there must be no mystery here. Like, when we're dealing with consciousness, either consciousness is fundamental and nothing came into existence. Consciousness is able to dream up anything, so nothing actually, like, physically exists. And we know consciousness is able to dream up things, like you can dream, right? So, and you know that it's only in your dreams that things can come out of nothing. So if consciousness is fundamental, it will make sense why there's something instead of nothing, because consciousness is able to dream. But to think that we live in a physical world and something came from, we don't even know where we should say it came from, that's where there's a problem. You see, because nothing can come out of nothing. That's, you know that's something that we know. But we do find ourselves in worlds when we're dreaming where, even though it doesn't appear as if the things that we see in our dreams came out of nothing, after we've woken up, we're like, yeah, where did those things come from? Of course they come from our own imagination. So nothing physically exists. The reality, does this feel like a video game to anyone? It really does feel that way. It really does feel like we are in some kind of a video game. Guys, let's like the video. Yeah, I was trying to come back today and make more videos because I didn't have time. So yeah, I just wanted to say hi and, you know talk about what I was thinking, because, like I said, it doesn't give me peace. Not knowing what I am, because that makes this hard. Like, there's this genuine desire to understand what I really am. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you all guys for joining the live. um I'll make another video today. Just that it's raining outside, but I'll publish a video later. Um, if it stops raining, because I want to record outside. It's been raining since morning. That's the thing. Thank you all, guys.